Hello and welcome to another video. So today we will be seeing what are lists. So basically list is a data type in Python and it's a mutable data type, which this means that once we have defined it, we can mutate it, we can change the contents of the list, alright. And further on we will also see one more data type which is called tuple. In tuple we cannot change the elements once defined in that, all right. We cannot append, we cannot add, we cannot update the values already in the list, in the data structure which is tuple, but we can append, change, edit the elements in the data structure list in Python. So basically, first of all, what is the syntax of list? So we can write any meaningful identifier for list. We can write data structure, right? So, and the identifier for list is square brackets. This is what defines that this is a list, all right. If there would be parentheses, or if I would insert curly brackets, then it's not a list. So we should be very careful while we are defining list. So I just said it data structure. I can even say it anything. I can even say it list. This is just a meaningful identifier. This is just a name of the list. So I can write it anything of my choice. So I'll write list 1. Then list of a particular type. I can insert uh, a list with anything. I can insert it with all integer values, right? I can also create a list with all string values. Alright, I can write names of XYZ and then anything. So this this list contains all elements of one data type, which is all of the elements are of string. In list 2, all of the elements are of string data, of integer data type. But I can also create a list from multiple data types. Like I can write list 4 is equals to, and then square brackets, and then I can give it a string variable. I can give it a integer variable, and I can also give it a boolean data type which is true, or I can also write false. Alright, always remember this is just a name. I can write it anything. List is not mandatory. Alright, the list is recognized because of these square brackets. Alright, and also one more which is a very important thing to note. Even while indexing means when accessing a particular element, either of a dictionary, of a tuple, or of a list, we even use square brackets for that. So remember this. To define data structure list, we use square brackets, and even for indexing, for accessing particular elements, we use square brackets, which we will be seeing in uh, further videos. I have just uh, run the code block. For outputting the values, for printing out the values in a particular list, we just write print. As we saw in the last video, to print out the values, we use the keyword print and just the list name, which is list 1, and we will just run it, and list 1 is empty. As you saw, this is empty. I can write list 2, so it will print the elements which were present in list 3, and so on and so forth. For list 3, whatever the elements were, it can be displayed using the function print. As you see, I've also used comments in order for me to, for so this is very useful for me, so I can always remember that what am I doing. So always use comments whenever you are writing code. Moving forward, there's a built-in function len, len. So this is always used to calculate the length of anything, may it be a string variable, or how many elements are present in a list. For suppose I will define a string variable a is equals to inverted commas x y z, and if I'll write print and I'll write what is the length of a. Alright, this is a syntax error that the length should be in lowercase. Alright, so what it's gonna do, this is telling me that xyz has a length of 3. In the same case, if I write abc and run the code block, alright, so the length is 6. In the same way, if I want to calculate the size of a list, so I will just write list 3. As you can see, we have already printed it, and we can see there are 2 elements. It will tell us how many elements are present in a list. So you see it printed out 2. It will not be telling how many values are in this string value. It is just going to tell us that how many elements are present in the list. Alright, moving forward, accessing specific contents of a list. Like you saw, there are 2 elements present in list 3. So if we want to access any particular element and display it, always remember that the indexing starts from 0. So we will write list 3 and then we will use square brackets. Square brackets are used for indexing. We need to uh, display the contents which are present at index 0 of list 3. So I am gonna run it, and as you saw, this is telling me that this is stored, this is the first element of the list, but the first element starts from index 0. Always remember this thing. Updating the contents of a list. If I want to update the content, if I want to write anything else at the same place, I will just write list 3 0 is equals to, I will write A B C D E F, right, and I will again print it to see if the element if it has updated the value of the first element of the list indexed at 0. So if you see, so it has changed. I can also look at the contents of the list 3 and print this code block. So you saw that this has changed it. So I can even update the values at a particular index. So on and so forth. We can even do slicing. So what is slicing? If I if let's suppose there is a list, let me define it. Um, so if you see, there are 7 elements present in the list, but I just want to display the first 4 elements. So I will write 0 till 4. So it will print out the 0, the element at 0 index, first index, and the third index. So this is inclusive and this one is exclusive. This is not included. The first index is included, the second index is not included. I'll write this and a square brackets used for indexing, and I will print this. So basically 0 index, 1 index, and third index. So these values should be printed. So we will also verify it. So if we see, this is printing 1, 2, and 3. Oh my bad. This will be printing 0, 1, 2, and 3. The fourth one will be exclusive, like I said. So 0, 1, 2, and the third one it will be printing, but it will not go up to the fourth index. Alright, like in the case if I write 0 till 1, so 0 is inclusive and 1 is not inclusive. This is exclusive, so this will just print the 0th element, which is the first element. So let's see, this has printed just 1 over here. So and so forth. There are some built-in functions also present for the list. So if I want to insert an element at any position, so I can always use list 5 and I will write that at 0 position I want to write A, B, C, D. Alright, alright, so we can even insert values. This is a built-in function. There are a lot of built-in functions in list. So we can even use insert. So I can write the name of the list, which is list 5 dot. I'll write insert, and this will also prompt me that these are some of the functions available for that, and I'll write that on which index I want to place a particular value. So I'll write 0, which is the first element. So I want to replace the first element with the value which I am going to give it. So this is like A, B, C, D, E. So basically the original list is this, as you saw, but now I am changing the replacing this value 1 with this thing, and we will also print the list to see if the elements have changed or not. And if we see, so the element 0 have changed. Now what's the benefit of using insert? So what insert basically does is that it pushes all of the list. So there are also a lot of functions available uh, in the list data structure. So I can always write list 5, which is the name of the list, and I'll write dot, and I will write insert. So basically insert is used if we want to insert any element in the list at a particular index. So if I want to insert any if I want to insert any element of my choice at my choice of index, so I can like write 0, which is the first element, and I will be writing A, B, C, D. So what it's gonna do is that it will shift all of the values, and it will add ABCD at the 0th position, and it will shift the places of every other element by 1. So the elements of the list will also increase. We will also print this to check the elements in list 5. And if you saw that the elements that were originally present in the list are there, but we have also added one more element into this, which is of our choice. Pop is also another function used in that. This will remove the last element of the list. So if I write list 5 dot pop and parenthesis, as we use parenthesis for uh, for any functions that are built in, I'll write print and list 5. So the original list was 1 2 3 4 till 7. So now the list, this will pop the last element, which is 7. So the updated list will be till 6, and this is the element that we inserted into the list. And so in that case there is also one more function which is called remove, which is like list 5 dot remove. And if I write that I need to remove a particular element which is 1, this is not an index, this is a value, so I want to remove this thing. So if I will even see that if this has been removed or not. So if you see there is no more 1 present in the list, I can even write ABCD, which I included. So if I do this, this will remove the ABCD part which was present in the list. We can even sort the list if our list is not sorted. Alright, if there are numbers which are jumbled up, and if you want to sort it, we are just gonna use list 5 dot sort, and it will sort the list. Remember to use the parenthesis whenever we use a function. Reverse is something that will reverse the list, and we can even print list 5 to check. So like you saw, this has reversed all of the elements present in the list. Copy is also one more function which can be used to make a copy of a list. Like if there is a we'll name it like new list is equals to list dot copy in parentheses. So this will uh, copy all of the elements which are present in the original list into the new list, and we can even print this new list. So as you know, this is our new list and all of the elements have been copied. We can even add multiple lists together like we did. Alright, if we have two kinds of list, like we have new list and list 5, so we can even add them both together and all of the elements will be concatenated together. If the first list contains 6 elements and the other list contains 6 elements too, so the new list which will be a amalgamation of both of the list, which that will contain 12 elements together, so on and so forth. One more data type which is uh, present is tuple. So what is a tuple basically? So a tuple, like I said, this is not important to use this terminology. Alright, we can name it anything. But tuple is identified by the curly braces that by the parenthesis. Alright, and like if I have inserted 1, 2, and 3, 4. So this is basically a tuple, and I can even print it. So even though I've named it list 1, but because of the parenthesis, this is not a list. The data type of this is a tuple. Alright, so I've made a mistake. I've not inserted a comma, and I've done that. Alright, we can even check it by writing type and list. Alright, so this will tell us the type of that. So this tells us that this is an tuple. And if I place square brackets over here, so this will be a list. Alright, but now we are seeing uh, tuples and not list. We are done with all of the list data structure. So this is a tuple. Alright, so what is the difference between a tuple and a list? So basically list, as I spoke earlier, a list is mutable. We can add it, we can change, we can update and add the elements from a list, but this doesn't go with the tuple. We cannot add or update the elements of a tuple. Even if I try to do it, like if I do this like append and I write 7, and if I run it, so this will show me a error that this is immutable, so cannot append. Okay, I can not even add the values like we used to do in the list, like we did list 1 and then we did some slicing, like the first element, which is the 0th element, and if I want to uh, instead of 1 I need to place ABC, and if I run it, so this is also not gonna happen, and it even shows us the error, nor can we update values because tuple object does not support item assignment. So once defined, a tuple cannot be changed. This is for today's lecture. Until next time, goodbye.